So, hi Dheeraj, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good, great Dheeraj. So, you have come to me for a repair of your already done hair transplant surgery.
Correct.
So, I would like to know how many grafts and which method and which area did you get done last time and when was it done?
Okay. So I got my hair transplant done 2 years back,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in the frontal area.
Mm-hmm.
And the graft, they told me like 3,500 graft.
And the method?
FUT.
FUT. Okay. And just the frontal area?
Just the frontal area.
You didn't get it done over here and the crown, nothing?
Crown. At that time, there was thin hair in the crown center also, but the thing is that they told me in a single sitting, they won't be able to do it for both crown and frontal.
Okay. Even with 3,500 grafts.
Correct.
Okay. So now what problems do you face because of this transplant and why do you want to fix it up?
Initially, I was very happy because I got the result because I was taking medicine like finasteride and Minoxidil. But since then, I have stopped this medicine. So I've been observing for the last couple of months that there's a little gap and small patches in my hair. So that's why I want to do it again and I want to repair it.
Okay. So you took finasteride immediately after transplant and for 1 year.
Correct, for 1 year. And
So
the doctor advised me, they told me that you can take it for a lifetime. So
you can take it or you must take it.
You must take it.
You must take it. Did they tell this when they were doing transplant in the beginning also that you'll have to take finasteride for the whole life?
No, they haven't informed me about that.
Okay.
So once the transplant is done, they advised me that this medicine that you should take it for 1 year. After 1 year, when I went for the another consultation, they told me that you should continue this thing.
So, see, in my practice, I see a lot of patients who come to us. They have miniaturized hair in this area, and these hair improve with the finasteride. And when these hair improve on finasteride, the credit of transplant goes to transplant surgeon. Everything is credited to the account of transplant surgeon, and you become happy. Okay, I've got wonderful results. But what happens as soon as you stop the medicine, there is rebound, severe rebound, and the hair which were miniaturized, which were regrown in thickness because of this thing. Even if the area seems, see, apparently, even if you see the area as kind of empty, for example, let me show you one case. This is a very important case which I generally highlight a lot. Uh, Now, this patient is one of my friends. We play tennis together. He is Dr. Gupta, a pediatrician, and he had baldness in the frontal area and the crown. So you can see this is non-shaved off. You can see the kind of hair he has in the crown area. And because the skin was tight, we just opted for FUE. There was no option of FUT in his case. It was too tight. We just did 2000 grafts by FUE method, and if you see, only the frontal area was attempted with 2000 grafts. Okay, this is the thing, and the temples were also created. We did not put even a single graft in this area at all. Only medication. You took finasteride at what dosage? Which dosage? Like 1 mg per day?
1 mg per day.
I gave him 1 mg alternate days. Okay. So just look at the magic. What happened after 3 months? This is the area which was transplanted. These hair were actually they are coming out now out of shedding phase, so they are growing. But look at this area. This has grown, and this is yes,
and there was no transplant.
no transplant. So this is because of finasteride. And you know, if we see a little later picture, suppose if I see his 8 months picture, then if you take a look at this area looks pretty good. And you know, I'm there to take the entire credit, and I'll say these hair are grown because of my transplant. So this is not the case. And in every patient, if you are comparing results of different clinics, you must see whether the clinic is giving finasteride to all the patients. If they are giving finasteride to all the patients, that means this. Okay. So had I given to, and this is just alternate days finasteride in a 62-year-old patient. So if I give, But then why should we give finasteride to all of our patients if it can do this? The thing is, there is tolerance issue. There are two reasons why I don't give it to all of my patients, or at least when I give it at lesser dosage. One is side effect. As you know, you did not feel any side effect of finasteride.
I did not feel it,
Good.
but I have read it on the internet that there are side effects of it.
Most of the patients don't feel any side effect of finasteride, but they read about it, and they sometimes then psychologically it develops. Okay, now coming to the second point, and second is tolerance. Patients can have tolerance to this, and then it becomes a major problem.
Earlier also, I think that the hair was very thick when I was taking the finasteride and minoxidil.
These hair must have grown very thick.
Correct.
These hair.
Yeah, the hair was thick.
Exactly.
Now I am observing that the hair is very thin now.
Now within less than 2 years, what we are seeing here is the reality of transplant. This is the reality of transplant. So because transplanted hair don't fall completely, but they can thin out over a period of time, but not at your age, and at least not in 2 years time. So we can see there are gaps in between. There are kind of huge gaps in between. Yes, here we can see these pictures, and that means grafts were placed at this much of distance. But because of miniaturized hair present in this area, if you see carefully, you can see some small roots over here, miniaturized roots. So they are also present in this area. But because of minoxidil, these particular miniaturized hair actually had grown in length and thickness, and that was creating an illusion of good coverage and very good results. So, but this is wrong, and this is not completely transparent, and that is why people get befooled. I've seen patients getting transplants done in grade 6, grade 7 with a lot of miniaturized hair on their head, and when transplant is done, after which finasteride is given, then you have the same thing happening. Hair improve, and the credit goes to transplant surgeon, doctor. But then once tolerance develops, you'll have to stop, or maybe even if you are continuously taking finasteride, it won't work.
It will not work.
That means we need to plan it. Either I am doing this for you, or I am doing it for marketing, or just selling my stuff out. So that means if I give you finasteride, and obviously I know I give it to all my patients, my results will look awesome. But that does not mean that it gives me authority to play with the life of my patient, because your interests are very important for me. You understand this? Now, another issue which I see in your transplant is this cobblestoning. We can see all the roots have these cobblestones besides gap, and the sides also. If we see, there is a lot of cobblestoning in the sides also, the temples which were created, and it looks unnatural. There are huge gaps just behind this and the crown area also, and your transplant was just done in the frontal area, probably this much of the area, and we don't see 3500 grafts over here. So that is again something which I try to highlight. See, without physically examining you in person, if somebody says we'll do 3000, 3500, 4000 FUT grafts, that is just not possible, because these numbers are not possible in everyone's case. You understand this? Now, to fix this up, maybe I might need to shift the hairline up, because this is like kind of too low. It is less dense. I can reuse these hair, and I can reimplant them at the back of your head. I can reshape. I'll show you one case. Recently we did this. So again, this was similar kind of patient who had undergone this surgery, and he came to me in this situation. So he had done a transplant earlier, and there were gaps, there were no temples. His surgery was FUT. The middle portion was like kind of empty, and if you see this, the hairline wasn't good, and there were a lot of gaps, no temple creation.
Hair is also looking thin.
Yes, and the middle portion and the crown was like totally gone. And similarly, if you see the same kind of thing which you see in your case. So we did his repair where we actually had shifted his hairline. You can see from there the grafts were extracted, reused. This is kind of second day post-op picture. The grafts were extracted, reused, and temples were created both the sides. And in fact, his scar was also filled over here, if you see. And after some time, like 10-12 days, when he came for a follow-up, if you see, this area has healed. This is what I'm planning for you. We can take out these grafts and this will shift this up, because I don't want to consume more grafts in your this area, because this is too low. It is not looking that bad because the hair are thin. But if I make it dense, it is going to look bad because this is too low. And the triangles which have been done in this portion, this also I would like to shift a little. So see how subtle, beautiful work has been done. If we did FUE for him, and this portion was covered, and you can see the beard also. 1500 grafts from beard, 1500 from hair, and the extracted ones. So if you see, it looks pretty good. And even the crown portion was filled, and the scar was like covered with FUE grafts. So the good thing about the patient was that he had undergone, the first surgery was FUT, and I think a combo he went through, FUT and FUE both. Yes, you can see some FUE dots or FUE scars also. Okay, here. And those people who think that FUE does not leave behind scars, look at this. It leaves behind scars. This was like bigger FUT scar. Generally, the scar is not that bad. In your case, also scar is good. I mean, less visible. So, but now we have filled this up, so it is not visible. So, in your case, we'll shift this. We'll remove the cobblestone hair, and we'll reshape it. Okay, so let me draw a hairline for you and then see what can be done.
I think there is no problem in shifting the hairline if
Just
we are getting the density.
So this is the area which was transplanted for him. These are own hair. If you see, these are his own hair. Own hair. So only this much area has been transplanted. If you see, this much area has been transplanted. And but if you comb the hair like this and take a picture and give finasteride, then everything looks pretty dense. But the reality comes after some time. So if you see here, only a small area, and this is like all gone. But this must have improved significantly on finasteride. And if you see, there are very small, fine, you can see it in the picture. So there are miniaturized hair, small hair, which are also present in these areas, but they grow. And again, I'm telling the credit goes to finasteride. So make sure, whosoever is watching this video, please make sure, and you can see this thing needs to be fixed. So how I am going to fix this? I am going to shift this up, because I don't want to increase the liabilities for future. We can reuse these hair. And I am going to extract these extra hair, which are like a very sharp triangle, which I am going to extract. And so if we see this, I'll show you a mirror. Just have a look. So
we are shifting the hairline from here to here.
Yes. Okay. So if you take a look at this portion, frontal portion, there are hardly any hair. Just see. There are hardly any hair. Just see. Nothing. Almost nothing. So to make this portion dense, because the circumference, as we go down, the circumference increases. So to put here, put a front se le portion. Come here. So if you see this, there are hardly any hair present. If I just cut these hair and give you this kind of shape, this shape is going to look better. So while creating hairline, one has to take care of this. And these hair we can extract, reuse, and this portion also, the extended triangle, I'll remove these hair, remove the cobblestones, and reuse in this portion. and then obviously you need a lot of hair in this portion, this area, and obviously the crown area. Okay, and now look at your donor. So this is your donor. The best part is the first surgery which you got done was FUT. So as we can see, there is a thin, very thin scar over here, and the elasticity is still pretty good to go. Okay, so I can, and the area above the scar and below the scar, it is absolutely untouched, and there are a good number of multigrafts still left in this. Had you undergone an FUE surgery, in the same number of grafts, though this is not 3500, but yes, in case we do whatever number, I think this is 2000 or something, but in case we had done FUE, so you would have got more density because more number of hair per graft would have been there. So that is very important. So I need to fill this, I need to fill this. I can still do an FUT surgery from this, including the scar of first surgery into the second, and we can get a very good result. And I'm talking about actual number of grafts. In your case, we can take out approximately 3000 grafts easily because elasticity is good, density is good, and these are going to be the actual number, not the fake ones. So I can combine FUE maybe 500 and do less FUT 2500. That will give me more options to play with. Okay, so shifting of the hairline is going to give me some hair back, and it will reduce my liabilities also to to fill these gaps. Okay, so otherwise we will be consuming a big number in this area. So 3000 is going to be a good number to cover this, and I'm not going to give you finasteride. So I am not planning to give you finasteride. I'll keep it as a reserve drug. Let's see how actual 3000 grafts work on your case. This won't be supported by finasteride. You now yourself has seen. So and I think that strategy should be better in your case, and it should work. And the prime motto is to keep decent, natural looking hairline and hair on your scalp as long as possible. So it has to be planned that way, keeping your interest in mind. I also know if I do whatever kind of transplant and give along finasteride 1 mg, everything is going to look good.
Correct. This is the first time that I hear from any of the doctor that I'm not going to take finasteride, because everybody is recommending finasteride and minoxidil.
This is happening. You know what? You cannot give same treatment to all your patients. Every patient is different. I myself have seen so many of my patients who have developed resistance to finasteride, and they are like thinning even in second or third year of their transplant. I have seen so many cases where we did a transplant, they responded well. I did not initially put them on finasteride, but yes, later on as I saw there was kind of hair fall, I had put them on finasteride. For some 1.5 year it was okay, but then resistance developed and they kept on thinning.
Correct.
So these things have to be taken care of every time. If the doctor or the clinic thinks about their personal interests, okay, my results will look good, my patient will be more happy, I'll be able to attract so many patients by just showing them this and mesmerizing them. But you just now saw and you have experienced it.
But you cannot sustain it, because after 2 to 3 year patient will get to
know. But patients have unrealistic expectations out of that. And actually what you are doing, you are not showing it. You are actually, so I think this is something which people need to know, because if they know these things beforehand, they'll be able to actually see what kind of work is being done on them. Because you might think that some clinic is doing wonderful work or the results are excellent, but you might not be knowing that this is because of what? So I'm not against any medicine, and people who want to know more about the medicines and their use, they can go to the videos links which we have made on finasteride and minoxidil, and and a lot of repair cases which I have done. And I am sharing this information, and thank you, Dheeraj, for sharing your
Thank you
experience
so
and
much, sir.
this, because this will help a lot of people.
Mhm.
And this is not to demean anybody, or not to. There are very good doctors who are passionate about their work, and I'm speaking on behalf of every doctor, and I'm speaking as on the behalf of my patients also, because at least some doctor has to come up and take a stand for their patients, so that you guys get to know the real truth of hair transplantation, and you can choose whatever is going to suit you the best. Not getting mesmerized by celebrities and all. A lot of people get that thing also
Get
in their
attracted
mind.
with these kind of
Yeah,
people.
so all that is marketing gimmick. Uh, Work on, concentrate on education. Even if you know that you know everything, even if you know that you have done your complete thorough research, you might be still missing some points. Thank you.